Hey, and good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Travel Tips Tuesday. It is October the 22nd, 2019. Now, last week we wrapped up a conversation about the lands at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. We started off in Adventureland for several weeks and worked our way all the way around the park, down back in Main Street, USA. And it was a lot of fun to be able to do that. A lot of you interacted and let me know what some of your favorite attractions and things to do were, and a lot of your favorite memories were. So thank you for that. As you're hopping on tonight, please say something. Would love to know you're here. I love interacting with people. That's what makes this thing better for everybody listening, even those that tune in on podcast or even on YouTube later on. So if you go to YouTube and search Travel Tips Tuesday, you should be able to find us. If you can't, I'm going to drop the link here in just a little bit. Feel free to share that, subscribe to it. Would love for you to do that, especially if you're watching this on delay. You can take it with you a little bit easier than through Facebook video. So tonight's topic is why a cruise can be the best vacation you will ever take. And I have had the privilege to cruise with my wife before, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great it was a shorter cruise, but it was a great vacation for us for a number of different reasons. In the season of life that we were in, it was a welcome break. We got to see and do some pretty cool things, and I'm very, very, very thankful for that experience. And I would like to hear from you all tonight. Do you have, a favorite cruise memory? If you have cruised before, something that was meaningful to you. It doesn't matter if it was Disney Cruise Line or Royal Caribbean or Carnival or Norwegian or any of the other major ones that are out there. If there is something out there that you love, that you have done on a cruise, please tell us about it. I would love to hear about it tonight. As you think about cruising as well, especially if you've never been before, it can be overwhelming. If you were to do a Google search and just go online and be like, what is the best cruise line out there, or cruise lines to choose from, or go wherever, or start talking to a travel agent like me. It can be overwhelming to try and figure out where you want to go, let alone, what cruise line you want to go on. There are cruise lines for all sorts of different, situations and flavors of people and, family sizes and those kinds of things and experiences that you're looking for. Anywhere from your sort of entry-level cruising experiences all the way up to super deluxe, luxury experiences with much smaller, ships and much more personalized service. So a lot of different options. Just to throw some of the cruise lines that are out there, Disney Cruise Line, of course, which is consistently rated the best family cruise line, has been for several years running. Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, Carnival, Norwegian Cruise Line, Princess, Asmara, and Cunard, of course, that is very well known for being the cruise line that carries the Queen Mary 2. So Adam Coleman, buddy that hooked up with some Disney tickets here recently, he commented he's very excited about his first cruise next year. So I am too, Adam. I'm very excited for you about that. It'll be great, and look forward to hearing about that. So again, all sorts of different major cruise lines that sail the oceans around the world. But there are also cruise lines that specialize in river cruising as well. So, maybe you're looking for a slightly different cruising experience. You like the idea that your room pretty much follows you everywhere you go. You don't have to unpack every night. But you're looking to do something a little bit different, not just go to the Bahamas or the Caribbean or Alaska or wherever. There are lots of wonderful European cruise options as well that take you to different spots in Europe. You see, many different countries and cultures, and are able to learn a lot about history and make some great friends in the process. So European river cruising is a great option as well. So I'm going to do something kind of very simple for kind of the rest of our time tonight and sort of the structure of tonight's conversation. And it's kind of do a sort of pro and con conversation. I'm going to be, super transparent about, some of the pros, some of the great things that I see about cruising, but also maybe some of the not so great things to say about cruising. And I'm going to try to counter some of that and give you some things to think about, because when you go into a cruise situation, I want to make sure, if that's something you decide to book, I want to make sure that is something that is a good fit for you. So let's talk about it. The first thing, and I posted this on my personal Facebook page earlier today, just kind of weighing some pros and cons and asking folks to comment. And some of these are going to come from that, and some of these are my own thoughts, and some of these elsewhere. So One of the first ones that came up was limited cell reception as a pro, and I absolutely agree with that. We are hyper connected in today's world. Even now, as I'm doing this on Facebook Live from my home in North Alabama, it's super easy to get on and talk to somebody, halfway around the world, and be able to talk to them, real time. It's not like 30 years ago where you had to call somebody, long distance and you paid an arm and a leg per minute on a landline phone to be able to talk to them. It's super easy to get connected today, and that's great. It's convenience, but honestly, sometimes we need to unplug from that. We need to detox a little bit. We need to focus on the relationships, on the people, around us that matter the most. And a cruise is a great way to do that. Yes, there are cell phone packages that you can get, when you're on board for your phone to stay connected, or, maybe even international coverage, based on some of the places that you're going, and Wi-Fi calling and all those sorts of things. But for the most part, people go on cruises not to stay connected with what's going on back home, but to focus, to relax, to kick back, and just to, unplug for a little bit from the craziness that is your world. I understand that very well. There are certain situations where people might need to stay connected on the way back home. Like if somebody is ill, or they're expecting some big news about something, or whatever the case may be with someone back home, or something going on back home, you may need to stay connected, and that's fine. There are ways to do that, and I would love to be able to talk with you to make sure that you have the right way to stay connected back home. So again, there are many options for that. The next pro is this: your lodging follows you wherever you go. I absolutely love this one. Okay, so this is connected to a few other things on there, but one of the biggest frustrations when you're touring, you're going on a big vacation, be it Europe or out west in the States, or somewhere in the northeastern United States or somewhere else, is having to pack up, every day or two and move on to a different hotel, worrying about leaving your cell phone charger behind, or your toiletry kit, or some important medicines, or whatever the case may be. With a cruise, your broom stays with you, but the scenery changes, pretty much every day. You're seeing something new. And for some people that can be a con. You may want to spend more time in a particular place. There are some cruise itineraries that do offer elongated stops or multiple stops, especially at some of the private islands. Disney offers some two-stop itineraries for some of their Castaway Cay itineraries, so that's a great option to think about. The next thing, bullet point on here, is access to some great dining options, many of which are included. So all cruise lines have a certain level of table service, and also the buffet. Cruise lines are known for buffets for the most part. There are all sorts of different food options that are going to be there. They're going to be available for you. Some of them are very, very, very good. A lot of them are super convenient. Of course, ice cream. There's always going to be ice cream around. And those offerings do vary from cruise line to cruise line. Even, within the cruise line, there are certain ships that may have, one particular restaurant and others that do not. There are even other premier and specialty dining packages that you can add on to it if you're looking to do a little bit something extra, or celebrate in an extra special way as well. And a lot of these dining options are also, a lot of the restaurants were started or kind of have the stamp of approval of some of the celebrity chefs that we know about, or that we've heard of. So like Jamie Oliver is one of them. So next on our list is, I mentioned changing scenery and opportunities to explore. So let me come back to that. So again, you don't have to unpack every single stop. You don't have to worry about packing up and moving to a different hotel. Your ship, your stateroom is there with you, but you're still able to get off the ship. You're still able to book some amazing excursions, experience some of the culture, and even some pretty cool historical sites in certain places. Of course, local shopping and dining, and a lot of other little cool experiences. So there are a lot of excursion options. And that's why the planning process can be key, because it gives you time to kind of investigate, figure out what you want to do, what you want to experience, how you want to get there, does it fit within your budget, and think about a lot of different options that you may have for that. There's also, on the other side of excursions, there's also lots to do on board the ships. There's, dining, like we've already mentioned. There are all sorts of different games and little activities that they have. Many ships and many cruise lines have age-specific areas, ranging from, nursery, kind of toddler age to sort of your adolescent teens, tweens to older teens age to a lot of ships even have adult-only areas to them. And again, those offerings vary by cruise line and experience that you're looking for. And ship. So keep that in mind. But other things to do are movies. I know on Disney Cruise Line, one of the really cool things that they do is they offer first-run movies. So say, for example, the final trailer for the new Star Wars movie that dropped yesterday, for those that are going to be cruising in December, when that movie drops in the theaters, you'll be able to watch that on board the ship live. So if you have a Christmas cruise booked this year on Disney Cruise Line, you'll be able to watch that movie if you're a Star Wars nerd like me. So I'm unashamedly one. But that's just one example. And there's some other ships that do similar things as well. Broadway level productions of different types of shows like Grease and Hairspray that you're going to see on board some Royal Caribbean ships and several others. And most of the time, those types of shows are specific to certain ships. It's not you're going to see every single one of these shows that, say, Royal Caribbean has on all of their ships, or even Disney for that matter. Those things are going to vary, but the production value is going to be huge. A lot of ships also have multi-purpose spaces where you can do anything from ice skating to gym kind of activities. Some of the Royal Caribbean ships have recently been through something, or are still going through something called Amplified, where they're taking some of their more experienced ships and they're upgrading them and adding, new extras and new activities for you to do on board. Of course, the pools, a lot of them will have slides, just a lot of really cool things to think about and do while you're on board a ship. You don't even have to leave. So say you dock port somewhere and you've been there before, you just don't have any interest in it, stay on board and hang out and have a good time. There'll definitely be a lot of things left for you to do on board the ship. The next thing is this, relaxation. That is what it's all about. Again, unplugging, kicking back, relaxing, and just enjoying yourself and the people around you. And just, we're under so much go stress every single day, whether you have a larger family like me and you're, maybe multiple jobs, or you have a very high stress job or high stress lifestyle or something else that's going on. You need time to just step back and relax. And cruising is one of the best ways to do that, regardless if you're single, married, if you have a younger family, an older family, a multi-family situation, a blended family, all sorts of different options for you within that. Would love to talk to you more about that. The next is this: all cruises are different. All cruises are different. Even if you take the same itinerary, you're going to have a different experience. It's just like going to Disney World or a theme park. You're not going to be able to do every single thing on your list that you want to do. Even if you go on the same ship, in the same itinerary, you're going to have things that you love, that you look for. You may have some crew members or cast members that you look for that you've kind of became buddies with on previous cruises. They may not be there anymore. Some of the same activities may be, but you know what? There's probably going to be a long list of stuff that you wanted to do that you never were able to get to. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about cruising. Again, all destinations are different. We've talked about the Bahamas, the Caribbean or Caribbean, whichever way you say it. Alaska cruises are also huge. If you want to see some amazing, kind of views of nature, some different parts of the United States that not a lot of people get to see. A lot of Alaska cruises will sail out of Seattle and Vancouver, kind of go up in different parts of Alaska and different types of itineraries. You'll get a different picture, and there are a lot of land tour options as well, where you can get off the ship and experience it by rail, by four-wheeler, and a number of different things. Most cruise lines offer a lot of great shore excursions that you can add on, even kind of more some land tour stuff. So where you spend more time on land than say just a few hours during the day. If you have questions about that, again, would love to talk to you. There are also cruises to Bermuda out of New York. There's a group from Travel Nation that I'm associated with that's going to be taking one in a few months. So that's pretty exciting out of New York. There are Mediterranean cruises, transatlantic cruises. A lot of times that are repositioning cruises, meaning cruise lines will move their ships depending on the season. For example, Alaska cruises typically only run from about May till roughly September. for most of them, based on what the weather is doing and availability and whatnot. But that's the typical kind of Alaska cruise season. And when those ships are not cruising to Alaska, they're on other itineraries. Sometimes they get moved over to Europe. Sometimes they get moved to other parts of the world. Maybe they're over to Hawaii and they come back. So there's a lot of other options there. There are Panamanian cruises as well, meaning you will actually get to go through the Panama Canal on a cruise ship. They might be going, say, from an Alaska cruise itinerary back down around, squeezing through the Panama Canal up back to, say, Florida or somewhere else. So those are a really cool experience if you're looking for a different kind of cruise experience. Hawaiian cruises, there's one cruise line and one ship that is flagged for the U.S. that sails round-trip cruises within Hawaii itself. There's some maritime laws and rules that relate to that. Won't go into detail how that works tonight, but you basically just need to know if you want to take a Hawaiian Islands cruise and you want to see the islands from, basically as much of them as possible in the shortest amount of time, again, with not having to pack up or fly to another island or, worry about another separate hotel reservations and all these things. Norwegian Cruise Line has a ship, called the Pride of America, that sails the Hawaiian Islands. It's the only cruise line that does that right now, that offers a round trip within Hawaii cruise experience. So there are some other cruise lines that will sail out to Hawaii and back, or maybe from a different country to Hawaii and back, so you will see other ships there. You may hear of other cruise lines that do that. But again, most of the time, the way it works is you only see that particular ship there from Norwegian, the Pride of America. So if you're interested in a Hawaiian cruise or want to know more about that, please let me know. One of the other really cool things about cruising are the friendships. You go there by yourself or say with just a couple on your honeymoon, or maybe you're just celebrating something or just going on a vacation, whatever your why, whatever your reason is for going on a cruise, you're going to end up meeting other people, right? The traditional kind of cruise dining model is that you get sat with, at tables with people that you don't know, because the tables don't just fit 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. They're going to vary based on ship. They're going to vary based on location of the ship and the main dining rooms. Sometimes the main dining rooms have multiple levels. So those are all things to consider. And another thing you want to think about is this with dining, is do you want to sit with people you don't know? There are options to say, I only want to sit with my group if you're going with a group, or I would prefer to sit at this size table if possible. There are a lot of options to weigh going into that, and even dining options. One of the things that Norwegian Cruise Line is known for is kind of their sort of freestyle cruising mentality. The way they have dining and their activities set up is a little bit different from some of the other cruise lines that are out there, and even some of the other cruise lines have tried to emulate that somewhat, though many of them will stick to the traditional. You have an early seating and a late seating, and then the occasional, for the main dining rooms, and then the occasional specialty restaurant reservations if that's something that you want to do. So be thinking about that when you're thinking about dining. There are some options there if you're curious. Some of the cons that came up were this. One of the first ones was seasickness, and this is one of probably the most commonly mentioned, reasons for people that are hesitant to go on a cruise. Yes, there are certain medications and things that you can do to think about that may help combat seasickness or motion sickness. Other things that you can think about, there are certain spots in the ship that are less prone to movement. So that's one thing to think about as well, or less prone to feeling it. When you get on a ship, when you're in port, you're not really going to feel it. But when you're on the seas and you're sailing, you still may feel it a little bit. And it's not necessarily going to, make you get seasick, like, you might get, say, car sick driving in the mountains or whatever. But it is something to think about. If you have questions about that, and like where, what good positions on ships would be for certain staterooms and things of that nature, please talk to me. We'd love to give you more information about that. The next thing is this: price. Prices can be one of the biggest turnoffs for folks for cruises. But once you take into account that your dining is taken care of, that your entertainment is taken care of, a lot of your activities is taken care of, you don't necessarily have to pay for anything extra. There are a lot of things that are included on cruises, especially with Disney Cruise Line. Yes, they're kind of more of a premium level cruise line, but one of the big reasons for that, number one, is the quality of service and also the offerings. So some cruise lines, you have to add on additional drink packages if you want like soft drinks and tea and coffee and stuff like that. With Disney Cruise Line, you do not. That is automatically included. They also have, again, their Disney Broadway caliber level productions. They have character greetings. They'll have characters that are just roaming their ships that you don't have to wait in line hours to see. There are some that if you want to see specific ones that you can get reservations for. Again, at no additional cost for that. Disney even offers some specialty cruises as well for Star Wars Days at Sea and Marvel Day at Sea. They have their Halloween on the High Seas cruises that are going on right now. They also have their holiday season cruises as well. And they even do special things over Thanksgiving and Christmas. So if you're thinking about doing Thanksgiving or Christmas in a different way, either this season or in the future, they do some really cool stuff. You can still get your turkey dressing and all the trimmings along with that. If you love to watch football, they will have football on, because remember, who owns ESPN? That would be Disney. So you will be able to see plenty of football if you're on board and if you choose to do that. And they have several viewing locations for that. So a lot of different specialty cruising options for you with Disney Cruise Line, and you get a lot included with them. Now to talk about just the price in general, there's sort of entry level kind of cruising experiences where you're just dealing with your basic inside stateroom all the way up to deluxe concierge level, suite level type, with balconies and maybe even multi-level rooms and suites on board ships that are great options. They're great. They're beautiful. They're very relaxing, but they are more of a premium level experience. You can fit more people in there. You'll have more space to stretch out inside your own stateroom if you want to. You'll have your own private balcony if you go that route. So there's all sorts of different options. And I'll be honest. Right now, I'm working with a group of ladies that is sailing on Royal Caribbean's Majesty of the Seas in January. And it is one of the best priced cruises that Royal Caribbean has. They're going out of New Orleans, and per person is less than $500 for a 7-night cruise. That's right, you heard me say that right. Per person, less than $500 for a 7-night cruise. So there are you're hard pressed to find a good hotel room. You can't stay at the Hampton Inn for less than $100 a night. And with them, you're getting, again, your food, your entertainment, your transportation, so to speak, on board the ship, and obviously your lodging in your room. So that's with an ocean view room too. It's not the cheaper inside stateroom. So there are lots of different options. All cruise lines have different types of promotions that you will see. You will not see as many with Disney because their ships most of the time are full. They don't have a reason to have to promote all the time. And they are in the process of building a new ship that they just announced the name of a couple of months ago, I think. It's called the Disney Wish. Their iconic character will be Rapunzel that you'll see hanging on the back of it. That's due for delivery, I believe, in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Royal Caribbean has a very large fleet. Carnival has a very large fleet. Royal Caribbean and Carnival both are associated with other cruise lines as well. So that's one thing to think about. So a lot of these bigger named cruise lines are kind of a larger sort of corporation that cover more luxury level experiences. So if you do like your service and maybe even the itineraries or some of the ports that you've experienced with a Carnival or a Royal Caribbean, but you want to kind of step it up a notch as far as the level of service and luxury or premium level experiences, you can do that. There are ways to do that. But again, with Disney Cruise Line, you're going to get a lot anyway, and the service is absolutely outstanding there for you. Extra costs, so sure, there are shore excursions, drink packages, dining packages. If you want to go to the spa and get a massage or something like that, those are certainly going to be more. And a lot of the sort of extras that you're going to pay for are going to be extras that you would pay for on land anyway. But again, the big difference is that you have a lot that's going to be included that is not normally included for you. And again, even with kind of your standard cruise line, some of the ones that I've mentioned, there are all different levels of experiences without stepping up to more of a premium level brand. based on the itineraries and where they're going. You can go 3, 4, 5, 7 night cruising if you want. The less amount of nights, the cheaper it's going to be. There are a lot of great promotions that Royal Caribbean will run. One of their bigger promotions that they run year round, or not year round, but occasionally throughout the year, will be their kids sail free promotion. The biggest one is where they do 50% off the second guest plus kids sail free and onboard credit. You will see that on occasion. And I try to let everybody know about that when it comes around. The best deals that you can get with Disney, just to say there are some deals out there with Disney Cruise Line, but the best ones that you can get with Disney are when you book what's called a placeholder on board. So if you sail with them and you opt to put, I think it's $250 down, you have, I think, almost a couple of years. It may be less than that, but I think it's around a couple of years to book another cruise. And with that other cruise that you get, you actually get 10% off whatever the base fare is that depending on what your stateroom category is that you want. So again, you can save a good amount of money by participating in that particular promotion. So again, you book the placeholder on the ship. You don't have to pick the dates. You don't have to pick the ship or the itinerary or anything like that. You can do that when you come back home, and I believe you have a long time to be able to do that. I have some folks that cruised a couple of weeks ago over fall break from one of the Disney Helen and the High Seas cruises, and they did that. They had booked a placeholder and chose that particular itinerary, and had some other friends, some other clients that also chose to book a placeholder on that one. So lots of different options for you with those. So again, you don't have to feel locked in if you do that. Royal Caribbean has something kind of similar, but it's a little bit different. But usually you can find a pretty good deal. And you can continue to work with your travel agent. You just tell them, my travel agent is hopefully John Rogers with Travel Nation, and I would love to be able to work with him. And I can provide the email address. Usually you can just give them the name of the travel agent and the name of the travel agency, and they can pass that information on if needed. So there's some other pros out there. There's some other cons out there that we probably didn't talk about tonight. But again, I could be up here for a long, long time. I wanted to do something a little bit different that was not specifically Disney related, because I do things other than just Disney parks. Their Disney parks, of course, being a former cast member, is kind of my bread and butter, so to speak. But I want to let other people know that I love other destinations. I love seeing the world and experiencing new cultures. I've had the privilege of seeing many places in Europe, even been down to South America a little bit, and it's been an amazing time, and would love to talk to you about those. So if you do have any comments, if you do have any questions, please let me know. And in just a little bit, as soon as I sign off, probably about 5 minutes or so, I will post the link to the YouTube channel. We'd love for you to subscribe to that. Once we get up to 100 people that have subscribed to it, I'll be able to change that URL, and it will be a lot easier to find online. So please subscribe to it, even if you're not going to watch it. We'd love to have your support there. And I do thank you for tuning in tonight, and we hope you'll have a magical evening. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.